Hi guys, it's DanMinigun bringing you another video. I'm just going to explain why Hamada is actually a terrible frontlines map and actually has the potential to be one of the best. Let me explain. As you could see at the top of the scoreboard, Hamada is a 7 flag map. The problem with this is A and B literally have no cover. If we go to A and B right now, we can see this quite easily. This is amazingly B point. You can get sniped from here. You can get sniped from here. And even you can get sniped from here from people you can see because this area is quite dark. Added to that, this map has 3 tanks. Actually two of those are actually approaching. Sometimes, well, quite often actually, when the enemy team, that is the German team, advances to B, the British team simply has a number of tanks that simply accumulate in this area. This makes the area very annoying to capture because there's literally not much you can do. There's very little, actually there's no fortifications at all, so we cannot improve the situation here. A point doesn't fare much better, but at least it does have some fortifications. What I would say is, let's abandon the A point, the B point. Where's the C point? C point is somewhere here, it's not that great either. D point is quite fun. Let's abandon all these and make it a 3 flag layout. This is E point. And there's actually some action going on right now. This is actually a very fun area to fight over. Let's consider this point to be A point in the new version. Then, once A is captured, we'll move to B point, which will function somewhere over here. I will actually make a map describing the layout, but basically B point could work because there's plenty of cover here, and it actually works well in it, as in the TDM environment in my opinion. There's plenty of cover, there's plenty of interesting locations to fight, plenty of engagement distances. We can have close range submachine gun battles here, we can have long range SLR, assault rifle, what have you over here. And then, once we capture B point, we'll move to C point. C point is the second part of the fortress, the main courtyard. This is actually G point in the normal Hamada version as we have it right now, but this is actually a fantastic place to fight even in the main game. This could very well be the last point. Afterwards, we will move to the MCOM positions, which is exactly like we find in the live version of the game. This is actually another excellent point to fight over because there's plenty of trenches, plenty of rocks to cover your approach, and is genuinely very conducive to a actually fun rush experience if you want to have that. So, where do you place the British MCOMs? Well, it's quite simple really, just use point D. If it were up to me, I would remove a significant portion of the bottom side, well, basically where there are the red players right now. This is an unnecessary place and it will just encourage camping and sniping, so in a 3 flag environment we can simply eliminate this. Another way to improve it is to have far more transport vehicles between E and D. That said, E and D are not that far apart and we have these areas to go through using cover. We have 2 roads which flank right into D. We can even use the Dragon State to flank into the D point. And mind you, the D point is now the British MCOMs. So that would basically be my solution to the Hamada problem. Now let's take a look at the simple concept map I made using Photoshop. Do not laugh at my poor artistic ability. I am not very well versed in making pretty looking Photoshop stuff, but I do know how to use the color balancer, so here it is. So let's quickly run through the new points. Firstly, the Allied MCOM. Now the Allied MCOM is simply the old D point, which is actually a fun point to fight over because it's in a trench system. You could easily place 2 MCOMs on either side of the trench and have a fun time attacking it because we have a number of flanking routes. These flanking routes are shown by the green lines on the map right now. These indicate the accessibility to advance on the Allied MCOM. We have 2 primary routes beneath the A point. These are actually 2 uphill roads which I showed earlier in the video. The rest are small canyons between rocks, and the most important thing is that you can flank around completely behind the MCOM. This would prevent situations where a tank just sits in the unoccupied or unplayable zone and just keeps firing on the MCOM without an ability to attack it. Now I will not be speaking about A and C because these already exist in the live game. They are simply called E and G instead. What is different, however, is the B point. This is not present in the main game, but is actually quite interesting because there's an entire fort section that is not used in the game. Basically, B point is a fort area with a few open areas. This means that it is essentially a combination of an urban combat zone plus your typical desert map, where you have more extensive lines of sight. But this would not be too high to encourage sniping. The problem I can foresee is similar to TDM, where players on C would start sniping on B. Fortunately, this shouldn't be much of an issue for good players on B because one could simply stay within the covered areas, and there would be no reason to engage C targets until they actually reach them. All that would happen really is that they would cap B and the snipers on C would just stay there, doing nothing. After B point, of course, we'll move to C point and the Axis MCOM, which is exactly like we have in Hamada. So with the layout details out of the way, what exactly do we want to achieve with this? Well, it's no secret that Hamada on Frontlines is not a fun map to play at all, especially paired with BF5's lesser visibility. There are some additional things you have to do to make this work. For example, on B point we'll need to add some fortifications, especially resupply stations. I think adding a vehicle resupply on B point would make sense, as all other vehicle resupplies will not be available on this version. The only places that will be available is the Axis MCOM, which already has a vehicle resupply in the main game, and a new one on the Allied MCOM, which also requires the same treatment as B, requiring more resupplies. Actually, coming to think of it, the D point already has the resupply and ammo crates, so these could just be moved around a bit. The other big tweak you will need to do is significantly lower the time limit. I suggest going from 45 to 25 minutes. The timer doesn't actually count when a flag is uncapped. By uncapped I mean the flag is still locked. This would probably lead to games which are balanced, that is, which are similar to St. Quentin Scar and BF1 Frontlines, which is also a 3 flag layout, not too dissimilar to this one actually. So that's pretty much all I had to say. I have very high hopes that this would fix Hamada completely without necessarily making an entire redesign of the map. I don't think we need a 7 flag map that lasts like almost 1 hour and 30 minutes that gets stuck everywhere. It's just not a fun experience, especially on a 32 player game mode like Frontline, which is primarily infantry focused, even though traditionally there have always been vehicles in Frontlines. Well, traditionally, only BF1 introduced this mode, and it wasn't perfect, but it was great. And for the most part, Frontlines is also great in BF5, barring of course the annoying issues like low TTK, well, low TTD actually. My name's been DanMinigun, and you've been watching my solution to the Hamada problem. I would say make Hamada great again, but Hamada was never great to begin with. At least I don't think so, and certainly not on Frontlines. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.